So we're going to look at the third and final and also my favorite way to set up the Bigger Better Breaker Bead. So I need a little bit more materials. This is a little more on the Hood Rat Arts and Crafts side. I'm going to grab a piece of string. I got this from the guts of a piece of paracord, which you probably, if you follow this channel, have paracord laying around. So I go through, I create a loop or a bend, I reach through, I reach through the eye, I grab the free end, and I just create a slip knot. Really basic. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Shockcord and I'm going to make an eye that is smaller than the breaker bead. So I slide on my string and I get it about where I want it. The reason it needs to be smaller is because I want to make sure that this stays in place as such. And it's really important that I try to crank this down. So I'm going to wrap as tight as I possibly can. Kind of like if I was wrapping a noose or something like that. And the layer that is the most important is where we're wrapping over top of these two ends to crush them together. So because the inside of Shockcord is rubber, we can get some compression on that. Gone down, gonna be at, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch, half an inch, 12 millimeters, 10 millimeters, something like that. Once I've got down and I have this nice and secure and tight, I'm going to grab my free end of this string, I'm going to fold it and toss it over and create what's referred to as a half hitch. Okay, I'm going to crank that down and I'm going to repeat a few of these. That's how I'm getting this to stay in place without having to use a bunch of glue or heat or things that could degrade the Shockcord. Okay, so we've gone through and we've secured that. I'm then going to just trim off most of the excess that we have right there. Okay. We're then just going to melt this free end. Lick your thumb, put it in there. Now you may opt to put a dab of crazy glue there if you want to, some contact cement, but you don't have to. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of heat shrink tubing. Just trim off this end so it's not hanging out. Looks nice and clean for us. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some heat shrink tubing. Okay, I need stuff that's going to go down to about 1/4 of an inch or so. I'm going to slide this over top of this eye. And then I'm just going to take my lighter and I'm going to keep the heat on the shrink tubing. It's very, very important. Rotate it around. We don't want to degrade the Shockcord. Okay, so now we're getting some that's a really kind of nice, clean looking product. Okay. And you'll want something that, I don't know, roughly goes from 1/4 inch to an 1/8 inch. Will be kind of the sweet spot for you. Okay, so that'll be a little bit hot. We have this nice eye that's there. Okay, the next step that we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to take our insert and we're going to slide it through. Remember, we want to keep the fat end facing out. And we're just going to slide this through. And then we're going to tie a very loose stopper knot in the end. Just a basic overhand knot. So if we're looking to wear this on your wrist, if you're looking to wear it on your wrist, the big thing that you're going to be looking for is sizing it. So when we put that stopper knot on the end, we keep it really nice and loose so that we can adjust the size of that. Right? So once we have this, Okay, that's roughly where I want this, as such. And then we would go through and just kind of move the knot down. It's easier if you have an extra set of hands to do this, but you'll grab the free end and just kind of work it down, right? And then once you have this, the size that you want, and whether you're using it to secure another piece of kit or whatever, then it's not that hard, right? You can take this off, you just push it through, and then we can use it the exact same way that we'd use the other one. Pulling it back, and done. The thing I like about the heat shrink tubing is you can get in different colors. If you want to go through and use red or yellow or put a little flare on it, you can do that as well.